Welcome to the Bleaves Crypto Show. My name is Bleaves. We're here to talk about cryptocurrency and all of the things that go into this crazy crypto world. So stick around. We're going to talk about CoinGape today has articles up on Chainlink price. We're going to talk Solana price. We're going to talk about XRP. We've got some Cardano news. Who would have thought this channel would be talking about Cardano? Also, Donald Trump is interviewing finalists to replace Jerome Powell, and he's doing it today. Does that mean that there might be a problem with Kevin Hassett? I don't know. It's getting weird out here. So let's talk about all that and more. And remember, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right.
It's your boy Bleaves. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
All right, guys, I got a great idea here, and I didn't get this myself. This came from somebody else, so we're going to start off with this one, and it is how to trade the FOMC today. And basically, we're talking about 2 points of control, one at 90,500, one at 92,700. What we're going to assume right now is that there's going to be an opportunity on a dip to get in at around 90,000 today. I've got $1,400 sitting on the sidelines right now, and I've got a buy order set at 90,500. I'm going to play this chart the way this is outlined right here, okay? I do think that we're going to see some dip going into this FOMC meeting. If it plays out, then we are in the game. Once we get into the game at 90,500, then we're going for 92,700, and we are going to short the market at that point. Once I get that notification of a trigger, then I think that we're going to go ahead and play the market back down. Now, the reason that we're playing the market down is because it seems like there's too much bullish information coming out on cryptocurrency right now, and it's getting absolutely crazy. So if it's getting absolutely crazy and everybody's starting to feel that next bullish narrative, then what happens? The market tends to dump. So let's get into chat and let's talk about that. And boom. So good morning to everybody. I hope you're having a great morning. We've got DJ and Brian in the house. I would strongly advise all iPhone users to upgrade to 26.1. We got good morning from OMG Casinos. I'm straight. That's why I have Android. Me too. Me too. I've got an older one, though. I've got the Google Pixel 8, and I think I got to upgrade to the 10. Warning from FBI on Google and Apple. Yeah, Android, everybody got a notice. By the way, there's some wild hack stuff going on out there in the world. So, by the way, let me just say that I saw an interview on Joe Rogan yesterday for John Cena, and I'm not saying anything other than, man, John Cena really likes to use the F word. I mean, a lot. A lot. So that was a very weird thing. Like for all of this time, I'd never really listened to an interview with John Cena, especially one that was not run by like WWE or something like that. And whew, that was kind of wild to see that happen. Anyway, so somebody just mentioned Oracle earnings after the FOMC. which is in play right now, by the way. Oracle stock had hit an all-time high just recently. So what are analysts looking at? And the answer to that is very simple. Bullish analysts at Citi suggested ahead of Wednesday's report that the view worries that Oracle's debt health and recent sell-off as was overdone, though they've watched closely for more clarity from Oracle on its plans, along with the evidence that AI-driven demand for its offering is broad-based. Oracle is seen reporting adjusted earnings per share of $1.65 on a 15-year over-year jump in revenue to $16.18 billion for the fiscal second quarter, according to estimates. Among the 12 analysts with current ratings tracked by Visible Alpha, 8 consider Oracle a buy. So probably going to get good earnings, going to get good report from Oracle today, which, by the way, the market seems to be tied into Oracle and tech stocks. So maybe we'll see a nice run today. I'm not sure yet. Again, I'm going to play the market at 90.5 and 92.7, then we'll see what happens. XRP price eyes a big breakout as triangle pattern signals a 16. You know, I've said this 3 times this morning, and every time I've said signer instead of signals, a 16% move. Unbelievable. According to the recent market analysis, XRP price is at present trading in a triangular trading formation. This trend has been noted by chart analyst Ali Charts to indicate that the stock is likely to move by 16% in the near future. Today, we have an XRP video coming out. I'm going to go back and redo my prediction. I still think it's going to be $25. So spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, and I don't know if you get a notification on that today. I may have actually accidentally sent the notification out on XRP today. I was trying, by the way, not to send out notifications to people. So if you are in fact interested in XRP, make sure you watch that video. It helps me out. Leave a comment on that video and hit the like button. Same as down here. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you leave a comment. The chart shows the price movement of XRP as a sequence of rising lows and declining highs. And by the way, let me go back to XRP one more second here and say that it is my belief that symmetry is going to play out. And I think that by December 25th, just because this sort of range right here is trending in this upward fashion, I think we are going to cross over, and I think that XRP is going to hit 420 right there on like December 27th or something like that, just because it seems to me that all you weed addicts are probably going to get a nice little pump on XRP through the end of this year. And it just makes sense to me that there's a magical level of symmetry in the crossover there. So 420, I think, is going to be that moment. So I don't. And by the way, I don't know if that's true or not. I have no way of knowing whether or not something like that would play out, but it sure feels like it to me. And just because it feels like it like when it feels like it right here, it doesn't matter whether it's true or not. I feel that way, right? It doesn't matter what the truth is. What matters is how the truth makes me feel. And if it makes me feel a certain way, then they are taking over our country. You know what I mean? So look for 420 on XRP coming up very, very soon. I have this feeling. Also, Ripple has released the XRP Ledger upgrade to boost stability. So what's happening here? It introduced Ripple 3.0.0, the core server software that powers the decentralized XRP ledger, marks a major milestone for the network with reliability improvement, fixes, and innovation such as native lending protocol, huge, as Ripple boosts XRP and RLUSD adoption. Node operators are urged to upgrade to the new version immediately to ensure service continuity. It's also mentioned installation packages instructions for updating to the latest version. The upgrade introduces major amendments, optimization, and bug fixes, said Krippenreiter, as highlighted. Fix include keyless fields amendment, which adds missing keyless fields to ledger entries related to escrow and payments. So these are the changes right now. Amendment fixes accounting errors in MPT escrows, adds missing keyless fields to several ledger entries, and improves transaction transparency. Moreover, it resolves rounding issues in automated market maker transactions, ensuring precise LP token balances. The Simulate API method now supports new metadata fields, which expands the capability of analytical and DeFi tools. By the way, unlike Ethereum, this is not about speed. This is more about reliability, security, and the ability to secure transactions. When you have rounding in your when you have rounding in your data and in your transfer, there's opportunities for people to arbitrage and take advantage of that, and they're lowering that capability for market makers by reducing the rounding process. So this is just to make your transactions more secure. It improves performance, security, and developer experiences. Jesus Christ, please get it together. Multiple bug fixes. This includes improved code in preparation for upcoming features such as a lending protocol. Now, price is holding around 208. I suspect we're going to see a dip down to around $2, and then I think we're going to start to see a massive, massive rally. Now, why do I think we're going to see a massive rally? Well, it turns out that XRP has $906 million in inflows. It is headed to $1 billion faster than Bitcoin. Okay? And this really, like, take a step back and look at this from an objective perspective, from institution, okay? The level of institutional adoption of XRP currently surpasses the institutional adoption of Bitcoin. Now, there's two things that you can take from that. Number one, XRP is more desirable to institutions than Bitcoin, number one, and that might be the case. And number two might just be that Bitcoin softened the landing strip, okay? That it just made that mass adoption that much easier, which is why it's running faster. However, if you're of that mind, then I would say to you, if we look at the spot Bitcoin ETF flows, then why would that not be the case with Solana, who's not exactly there yet and is not feeling that same level of inflows? Solana only 155 million in inflows during that period of time. And you might be in your brain right now, if you love XRP, you might be thinking to yourself, please, why would you be comparing XRP to Solana? Well, I'm not really comparing XRP to Solana. I'm showing you the results and the comparison between the two. And that is massive, okay? There is a huge differential right now in the level of adoption in XRP in a very short time compared to Solana over a little bit longer of a sampling size. So we could be looking at a paradigm shift. Now, if there's a paradigm shift, then what are we looking at from the price action? Again, I think 420 is going to be that big move, followed by, and this is where it gets interesting, if I were to just give you that and say, hey, banana zone rally starts right now, we're going to go to 420, then we're going to dip back down to that $3 level, maybe that 4.5 at about 315. What it would look like would be something like this. I think we're going to have a massive scale up right here, a dip right here into this range right here. You can see there's the volume right there. So that's the way that I think it's going to play out. Then you're going to see that massive move. And I don't think it stops at the 236. I think we get a surge above because that's going to break above. And remember, the 236 is going to be at the all-time high, so you could have some ranging right there. But then you're going to have a massive breakout. And where does that massive breakout go? That massive breakout goes to the next target zone, which is somewhere around $6 to $8. So I suspect we're going to see, just a massive run up, maybe to $8. Then you're going to see another big correction coming down into this, maybe wicking down to this top near 420, and then that's when you're going to have that massive, massive surge and massive, massive breakout as XRP takes its place alongside Bitcoin as the number 2 overall crypto, most likely in that $1.5 trillion market cap. Now, by the way, when that happens, it is my estimation that Bitcoin will be well over $2 trillion in market cap. But we're going to start having a conversation, which we haven't had for a long time, and it's going to be about another flippening. And it's going to be XRP flipping Bitcoin in price. And by the way, not going to happen. But there's going to be that moment there where people are looking at it like, what, it actually could happen. It's not going to happen, but we're going to think that it does for a little while. It is my estimation that that's what's going to happen. By the way, by that point, Ethereum, $6,000. Again, I don't go beyond $6,000 with Ethereum, but I think that the way the money is flowing right now and the level of interest right now in XRP is second to none. So as the days turn into weeks, into months, you're going to see a massive move from XRP. A Cardano price outlook, expecting a 30 to 40% bullish wave soon. Guys, all the fundamentals, and it should be noted here, all the fundamentals that, when we talk about this kind of stuff, all the fundamentals continue to shift in the direction of we're not done yet. Not that we're about to dump and that the market is over. Now, that's that disbelief feeling. And by the way, there could be some there could be some disbelief. Maybe, just maybe, the disbelief is that, we're not going to have that massive run. Maybe people just say, the 4-year cycle, bros, it's over, bro, and they've already started to sell. Here's what I think is going to happen, all right? Let's get back into chat here. Crypto is recovering nicely. Low cap meme coins have been going crazy since yesterday. Yes, we started to see a little bit of movement in the market again towards the upside. We're looking for that. But here's the thing. The last couple of moves that we've had, the last couple of meetings, the FOMC, rate cuts, et cetera, we've seen a nice little pump followed by an even bigger dump. So if you are of the mind that the 4-year cycle is the deal, right? Well, then you right now are feeling it that way, thinking that, maybe we're just done. Maybe it's just we've completed whatever it is that we're supposed to be complete, whatever move to the downside there is. So, we'll see a relief rally and then we're going to see another big dump. 4-year cycle bros are right there. Here's my thesis and why I'm going against that. Okay. What I see contrary to that is that the 4-year bros got out because they saw the sign, they saw winter mute selling, they saw everything that was happening, and they decided that the 4-year cycle was over without the data to back it up. Okay. What they did was they exited the market. Now, if Bitcoin reaches 100,000 again, they're going to slowly start entering the market one more time. Remember, these guys have sold somewhere in that neighborhood of between 126,000 down to about 100,000, and then the market makers took over and dumped it even further. That's how we had this deeper correction. However, if we go above 100,000, which is going to be a fight, we go above 100,000, they're coming back in. And they're like, oh, you know what? This is actually going to be the big rally. There are spots where everybody, even the people on the sidelines, will have their mind changed. There are spots where they're going to be like, oh, I was telling you all this time that it was going to go back up. Haha, did I say down? Down means up in the upside down. I watch Stranger Things, and if you don't watch Stranger Things, then you just didn't understand what I was saying. Something stupid. So maybe we're about to see a crazy little rally. Anyway, Cardano price breakout above trend line signals potential 30 to 40% price surge. Okay, funding rate flip indicates bullish momentum from Cardano. Another one. Cardano targeting 50 cents with strong technical indicators supporting growth. Now, midnight and all of that stuff that Hoskinson's got going on right now have not moved the market in ways that have excited people about Cardano. So I really like to see it because I think it's healthy for the market to see Cardano, largely a stable coin at this point, start to really have some moves. I felt comfortable talking about Cardano at 50, 60, 70 cents not that long ago, and it is not held up very well at all. I mean, we were sitting around here in this sort of range right here between, just call it 60 to 75 cents, all the way down to 50 right there. Like it was getting real comfortable in that sort of zone. So, what do we make of it? Well, look, let's, so that green box right there, that's like the range for Cardano right now. If we break above and get up into this at 50 cents, again, what I say, by the way, does not change in this. I think we need a surge into maybe 60 cents, a dip back down 50 cents, a test at 50 cents like we had here and here and here, and support and resistance over here. We need to see that kind of confirmation, but then we take a long position at 50 cents and we ride this thing all the way up. That's a 70% rally, by the way. This zone right here should be about 70%. 60%. How the fuck did I screw up math? Oh, because it's 80, not 85. Son of a bitch. I really thought the top of this range was 85. God damn it. Anyway, so between 50 and 80, so it's going to be a 60% rally. 5x leverage, that's 300%. 5x leverage has 300%. So if you can get in at 50% right now, or if you can get it at 50 cents right now, again, I don't think on the way up here, you're not looking for an entry at 50 cents. You're looking for a correction back down from 60 back down to 50. Then you look to enter position and boom, get yourself a nice little run off of it. Now, if you're buying on spot, right now is a perfect time to buy because, you know, that's a 100% gain from where it is right now all the way up to that 80%, and, you know, maybe a little surge above to come back into this range right here, because you want to shake out sellers, and there's going to be sellers sitting in the ranges where there's volume, right? So, and near that top. So you're going to be at the top, previous top, and you're going to have that little volume range right there. So you might see a wick kind of go through there to try to get those people to sell so that they can start to create another dip, market makers, and then get that big move. So, and by the way, on the daily, what you really like to see right now is a move above that 50 to start getting that to correct back up. You want to see that solid reversal right there, coming into that, kind of straightening out just a little bit and get that magic golden cross. So watch for Cardano to have a big move coming up very, very soon. Also, who will be the next Fed chair? Trump to interview finalists to replace Powell today. The Financial Times reported that Trump will continue and conduct the last rounds of interviews. He is comparing Kevin Haslett with several other well-known candidates. Senior administration officials say Trump and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent will meet on Wednesday with former Fed Reserve Governor Kevin Warsh. This is part of the final evaluation process. Hassett is the clear frontrunner to replace Mr. Powell when his term expires, but administration officials say the president is leaving the process open. So that's good to see, by the way. Let's once you've decided on one guy, don't settle. And I don't mean that Kevin Hassett would be settling in any way. I just mean that, allow yourself to hear the other side. Allow yourself to hear what somebody other than Kevin Hassett has to say and see if that sparks you in some way. So if Kevin Hassett is given an answer and you like the answer, but you're not convinced that these answers are proper for your market, for what you, Donald Trump, want to do, go listen to somebody else. Let them talk you into why they should have the job instead of Kevin Hassett. Let people do their thing. Remember, that's what The Apprentice was all about, right? Despite earlier reports that Trump favored him, the president has signaled he still plans to interview several finalists before landing on a new Fed chair. And by the way, for me, most responsible thing that a president can do, continue to listen to other people. Also, going to listen to current Fed governors Christopher Waller and Michelle Bowman, and BlackRock executive Rick Rieder. At least one more interview is expected next week, and a final announcement is planned for early July. Could Hassett have a shorter term? Some people in the administration are considering whether Kevin Hassett should serve a shorter term than the usual 4 years. One idea being discussed is for him to take Powell's place on the Board of Governors, with his term ending in 2028. This would rather than serving out a regular full term as Fed chairman. President Trump wants Secretary Bessent to become the Federal Reserve leader in the future. However, Bessent has said he does not want the job. If Hassett takes a short-term appointment, it could help this possibility. So far, Powell has not said whether he plans to stay on the Board of Governors after his leadership term ends. In other news, today the Federal Reserve is expected to deliver the third rate cut. So we're watching this right now with bated breath, wanting to know who the next person is going to be. By the way, anybody who it's going to be is going to be somebody who Donald Trump believes will cut rates dramatically to increase liquidity into the markets and start to perform quantitative easing. Now, when you look at what Kevin Hassett has been saying over and over and over again, he is clearly looking to do multiple things. Number one, massive rate cuts. Number two, quantitative easing starts right now. There's $127 billion in cash sitting in the Fed Reserve right now, waiting to be deployed as capital into these markets through some buybacks right now. That's going to pump stock prices to the moon. Stock prices pumping to the moon means Bitcoin going to the moon. Bitcoin going to the moon means the rest of the market going to the moon. So that's what we're watching for right now, and that's why we want to see it happen a little bit faster. But make no mistake about it, we are about to see quantitative easing. We're about to see massive Fed rate cuts. We're about to see a bull market like we've rarely ever seen. The question is, will that lead to a new age of prosperity in the United States? I don't know the answer to that. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know whether that means we're going to get that new age of prosperity or not, but I would like to think that we're at least going for it and they're taking the shot. And that's what matters, right? Taking the shot. So fingers crossed. Also, Solana price targets $200 amid increased whale accumulation. So what are we looking at here? Solana price trades inside a compact consolidation box that stretches from the lower boundary near 128 to a ceiling of 144. At the time of writing, the Solana market valuation trades at 238 as price holds the ascending support that formed in late November. Every contact with this trend line generates a rapid recovery, a fact that validates strong demand at the bottom of the range. Multiple rejections at almost the same level are used by sellers to protect the ceiling. Such reactions characterize the resistance as a powerful obstacle. So, a break above 144 will open a clear way to the zone of 170, which lies ahead as the next level of importance on the chart. The forecast in the structure represents a staircase action towards $200 in case buyers gain momentum above the middle. Now, something to remember about Solana. Solana has been just absolutely pumping out new coins. So the huge moves that we've been looking for, the gigantic playouts on Solana, I mean, basically invalidated at this point. But we're in the demand zone right here. So what we've done is come down here, wick down into this range right here, and then guess what? Now we've got this massive level of support. That's what they're talking about right now. There's a massive level of support playing out right now on Solana. And what does that mean? That means that even if you decide that your entry into Solana is right here, right now, I would expect to see a move into this 200, 234 range. And by the way, when it starts heating up, it heats up really, really bigly. So, and by the way, you know, I talk to you guys all the time about just, you know, my opinion about some of this stuff that happens here. Whoops, I wanted to zoom right into this range right here. If we were to look into this range right here, I just want to show you why I keep telling you this. You know, if you come up here and you say, well, you know, there's the top right there. What happens in this market? Well, you have that big move, right? Then you have that correction. Then you have the move to the 236 right there. Then you have the steeper correction. Then you have the breakout. This is what I'm talking about. And then you have that retest of the 236. This is what I'm talking about all the time. When I talk to you about these charts and I tell you that the most common occurrence and the most common play out is this right here, that's the reason, because it is. And no matter how you look at it, if you can find that pivot and you can find that momentum, then that's where you figure out that something big is getting ready to happen. Speaking of something big getting ready to happen, Terra Luna Classic, look at what it's doing right now. I told you guys, Terra Luna Classic right now looking very, very strong. And it's up another 7.5%, 10.75% on USTC today. And it's doing the same thing. We go down to the hour chart because we look at it from that standpoint right there. But I mean, look what's happening with Terra Luna Classic. It had the impulse move from here up to here. It had the correction back down. It had the move back to the 236. Now it's having this dump. Now the question is, will it dump stronger? Or will it show momentum? Now, here's the other part to that. If it doesn't show that downward momentum, if we don't get a correction back down into this range and we get a stop right there at the 382 or the 0.45, that is bullish confirmation and much more bullish momentum. And when you look at that, then you start talking about the golden ratio. And where's the golden ratio come into play? Well, that comes into play at 3017. So in the event that this is playing out in a bullish fashion right now, you could see a massive, massive, massive rally right now for Terra Luna Classic all the way up to 3017, coming a lot sooner than you might think. And again, if this does not play out the way that we're looking at right now, if it does not play out with that downward momentum and we continue to hold and we continue to get positive news, stuff like that, then you're going to see a crazy, crazy rally happening on Terra Luna Classic. Make sure, by the way, that you hit the like button on the way in. We got Lupin69 with the $5 bomb. Do you think Bone Shiba swap will ever amount to anything? Not anymore. You know, and look, no disrespect to anybody who still likes the Bone. but I don't see it anymore. I don't see any positivity. I don't see anything in the SHIB ecosystem or the Bone ecosystem that tells me that we've got some kind of that we've got some kind of crazy opportunity for anything, really. I mean, I really don't. I at this point, if you're not getting on these and by the way, here's the part that's going to matter to me. Right now, you're at the bottom. You could not be any further down than you are right now with Bone Shiba swap. So here's what I would say to that. Let's look at what the rally potential is, and that's right here. And look at that. See that top right there? That top right there tells me that it's got to break above that in order to have a breakout. But look how much range there is from where you are right now up to that breakout point. And if you look at it from where it is right now all the way up to where it breaks out, you're talking about a 7 or 8x. So for me, this is very simple. I don't see a future for Shibarium, by the way. I don't see a future for Shibarium right now, and I don't because what was Shibarium supposed to be? It's supposed to be a meme culture. It's supposed to be a meme place. And what happened? Pump Fund came out. Bonk Fund came out. Meme coins, they've already had their runs. They've already, and not to say that they won't, but Solana made everything easier. Solana has become the meme coin hub. Solana became what Shibarium was meant to be. So could you have some kind of excitement there in the SHIB ecosystem? Sure. Could you have a spike in activity? Could you have a moment where SHIB Pump or something like that, Shiba Pump, launches and gets people into the ecosystem? 100%. You absolutely could. But I don't think it's going to sustain. I don't think it's going to sustain because most people still believe that Shiba Inu is just a novel thing and not something that has a big future. So, and by the way, you're seeing a bunch of Solana ETFs. You're not seeing a Shiba ETF. I'm right about this. So I would say this. Buy some Bone right now and get ready for a massive run-up one more time or two more times or something like that. But every time you get to this blue line right here, I would sell into it. Look, I just put it this way. If you put $1,000 in there, it'll probably be $7,000 before you know it. You know what I mean? Like it'll just run up here and you'll get $7,000 or $8,000. Sell that right away, okay? Then when it comes back down, and it will come back down because historically, look at this long trend line right here. It's going to do that, right? It's going to keep going down. So when it comes up there, I would short the market and I would wait for it to come back down even more. And then I would look for it to come down and touch the bottom of that range one more time. And then I would put 2,000 in the hopes that it's going to go up and do a 6x. And then I would short that back down to the bottom. And then I would do the same thing, expecting about a 5x. So I think it's easy money, but I don't think that it has a future. So, and remember that hack, hacks are killers. And it got hacked for, what is it, $43 million? It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to get just ganked on by somebody. That you're not seeing happening by the same on Solana. So again, Solana breakout to $200 probably in the cards, and Chainlink is now predicted for a $20 move. Why $20 is the next key target? By the way, Chainlink is the king of RWA. And as the king of RWA, when Chainlink starts to run, the rest of the market's going to run. Now, I've told you many times over, it is my belief that API 3 is a better alternative than Chainlink, but just because it's a better functioning alternative to Chainlink does not mean that it will get the same traction as Chainlink, but it will get some traction because people will start to speculate. Now, why has something like API 3 not blown up yet? And the answer is very, very simple. We've never hit the banana zone of this market. We've never hit the spot where speculation, greed has never taken over in this market. And guys, I want to say to you right now, and please hear me when I say this, if we haven't had the ultimate level of greed, like the frenzy is on and it's never going to end, we're not at the top, okay? There has to be a blow off. And that last blow off that we got at 126,000 for Bitcoin, did that feel like a blow-off to you? Did you experience altcoin frenzy? By the way, there's millions upon millions of cryptos now. There were thousands before, so the money is diluted. I will admit that for sure, but you didn't see the frenzy. You didn't see the insanity. You didn't see the explosive move of multiple different cryptos just going bananas for no apparent reason. You never experienced that. You saw some okay surges from meme coins, not gigantic, okay? You see some okay surges from meme coins. You've seen some retail meme coin markets kind of sizzle for a little while and then fizzle a few days later, but you've not seen an explosive move yet where you've seen the money from Bitcoin just flooding into the rest of the market. So until you see that, we're not done yet. So Chainlink price is showing strong potential. Also, the Grayscale Link, the Glink, has rocked the boat by acquiring 2 million Link tokens within a single week. This development has continued to increase the level of optimism about Link, further enhancing its future opportunities. As of Wednesday, the price of Link was trading at $14.11. $14.11 means it's about 30% climb to get to $20. And I mean, look, if you put a leverage position in at $14 right now, it feels pretty good to me. I mean, you know, if you were to 3x it, I would actually take that bet because, you know, if I look at it from that standpoint, like how can I get in at a really good, how can I get a really good entry position here on Chainlink? And I want to come out here to the daily because I want to look at it from a longer perspective here. Okay, so I'm going to change my mind here just a little bit before we go because we're under the 50, but we're wicking on the 50, which means that a break down is more likely than a break upward at this point. RSI is above 50, but it's still neutral, so it's not really flowing, but we've had a lot of green inflow right there. And I suspect that we're not going to see a lot of inflow like that. We need to see that red flip over. So it looks to me like a move down here into the $13 range. Set a buy order. If you're looking for any kind of leverage position, it would be my estimation that setting a buy order at around 1270, 13, somewhere in that neighborhood right there, for a move again above this right here, back into $18 range, and then boom, back into this $21 range, going in that fashion. So I would set a buy order around 1275-ish, low leverage to give yourself a lot of room just in case. But if people are buying up the Link on ETFs, if we're seeing positive capital inflows on Chainlink, if we know that that really represents the linchpin that kind of holds RWA and crypto together, this is the real bridge between traditional finance and Web3 still to this point. So with that, I suspect that we've got a lot of upside, but I think a correction to the down really looks like it could happen. So, and by the way, I don't see that with everything, which is kind of weird. Like you would think you would just see it everywhere with everything. I don't see it right now with every single one of these cryptos. So anyway, moving on from Chainlink, Kobayashi says China's DeepSeek is set to announce a new AI model that used NVIDIA's Blackwell chips, which were smuggled into the country. DeepSeek reportedly tapped chips installed in data centers in various countries, then dismantled and shipped to China. That is hilarious. Now, retail investors are beating the market. Individual investors who invest through ETFs have returned 23% year to date on average. Why not get in an ETF? 23% gain so far. By comparison, the S&P is up 12 and 15, and NASDAQ as well. Trump says my favorite word is tariff. Oh my God. Oh my God. Bull market peak indicators 0 of 30. If you haven't already, consider signing up to Terra Casino. We're going to do a giveaway tomorrow, and I'm going to do a trivia question, and we're going to give away $50, and it's going to be concerning Terra Luna Classic. So if you don't have a login right now, go to terracasino.io. Down in the description below is a link. Go sign up today, and tomorrow I'm going to be asking for usernames. I'm going to do a trivia question, and we're going to give away $50. If you want to buy any meme coins or utility coins, and remember, Terra Luna Classic is blowing up right now. It's going absolutely crazy. You can buy the meme coins. And by the way, Juris up big, Garuda Protocol up big. All of the ones I keep telling you guys. Remember, I put $25 in each and every one of them. They're worth over $100 each one of them. So I'm up 4 or 5x on everything in Terra Luna Classic right now. So buy some at terraport.finance. That is your DeFi protocol. That is the way that you enter this ecosystem. We're going to skip dev today because, I mean, the whole team is just like quiet and not saying anything. They're not even bantering in chat right now. DeFi still is still struggling, but it's having a nice little, I mean, like it's not horrible, but it's not actually, lighting it up. And again, when you're doing it on chain, it's expensive. It's expensive. I don't know what else to say. You can't build like that. All right, now remember, we are surging, but the volume is coming down 5% to 315 million. What is Binance trading right now? 87 million. So there's going to be just enormous amounts of burns. And by the way, if you guys have not already, let me show you this because I did this one last night and it was crazy. Look at this right here. This is the trade volume for the last 6 months on Binance. And remember, each month they're burning 500 million or roughly around 500 million. Terra Luna Classic, July, August, all of it near 100 million to burn 100 million in trading volume, burns about 500 million tokens. Guess what? December so far, 501 million, which means that they're going to burn so far $2.5 billion in Terra Luna Classic tokens at the end of this month. That is going to be enormous. And by the way, we're only on the 8th, the 9th, was it the 9th of the month? Yeah, through the 9th of the month, there was another 100 million in volume, meaning it's 600 million now. So, there could actually be $1 billion worth of volume, which would mean that 5 billion Terra Luna Classic tokens are going to get burned, or coins are going to get burned this year. That is absolutely crazy. Anyway, so again, there's just nothing to talk about with dev. Crypto banter bubbles. Let's see what old Bubble Eyes says here. Knight is up 63%, having a nice little recovery. If you got some of that from Kraken or OKX, shout out to you. Ethereum up 5% on the day. Avalanche up 2% on the day. XMR up 10%. Monero, privacy coins, probably going to have a run, but also could be a rotation away from Zcash. I don't see Zcash sticking out here. Yeah, I don't see Zcash really sticking out today. So it's down 1.2% right here. So Monero up 10%. Maybe we're seeing a capital rotation. So I'd be watching for that. Pippin up 62%. So meme coin coming back. SAD up 18%, having a comeback. Stable up 15%. How does your crypto have a lower market cap than a goddamn meme coin, by the way? Ask yourself that. Meta up 23%. Axel up 20%. Beat up 41%. Folks up 13% on the day. Luna up another 47% on the day. Sold my Luna, by the way. Finally just got out of Luna. It is just absolutely surging, though. But I only had a couple $100 in it. So I just thought, we're near the top. So let me just take this money off the table. And I don't really think that it's going to do any, I don't really know that anything's going to happen with that. But again, just a massive move right there. Piverse up 24%, River up 21%, Opt 15%, Snek down 16%, Zig up 14%, Aleo down 9%, Mini Doge down 12%. Fear and Greed Index still sitting at 26, which means that we are still sitting in that fear range. Fear range is becoming the norm right now. Look at that. This is just a crazy sort of absolute dip in the market. And by the way, when you get down into this range, like I always told you, you can still accumulate Bitcoin at this range right here, knowing that when it blows up, and it will get into greed, when we get into greed territory, Bitcoin's going to have a massive, massive run up. If you got in where we were talking about before, I just want you to, again, I'm not making this shit up, but when we hit 30, when did we hit 30? 24 right there. 27, right? October 11. So on October 11, that's when we hit right October 11. 110,000 is when we hit. That seems like a shitty trade. But guess what? By the time we get back up to 70, we're going to be at 134,000. Be at 134,000. Also, just to give you some idea here, today's a perfect day to buy Bitcoin. It really is. Again, we're above 91,400, which I told you was the number. We need to close above that 91.4, and we need to keep closing above that. We need to build off of that. When 91.4 should be a nice floor. If we're doing that, we're going to be just fine. We're still right there right now. We should get a surge when we get the FOMC rate cut information. We're going to start parsing, and they're going to start taking it off the table as soon as we get the data at 1 o'clock. We're going to see that run up. And then at 1:30, when the meeting starts, we're going to see that absolute catastrophic sort of dump situation. Here's what I would be looking at. Look at the 50 MA on the daily right there at 98,000. That's what I think Bitcoin's going to surge to today. 98,000. We're going to get this nice little range here. Now, again, my range right here is about the same as what that other guy said, 92.5 sort of range down to 90.5. So again, we're waiting for that dump into 90.5, and then we're going to make another buy right there. We're going to use 5x leverage and just kind of see what happens from there. I don't know what you guys are going to do, though. All right, so liquidity. What does it look like? Let's hit the symbol. Let's go to the 24-hour. We just did a sweep. Look at this. We just did a sweep to one of the ranges I told you yesterday that we were going to end up kind of wicking down into. And guess what? That's exactly what we did. Now, the reversal underway up into 94 to 95,000. So, you know what? Actually, let's reduce that just a little bit at 94 to 95. We're actually at 94,000. What is this? 94,800. So let's increase the range on this just a tiny bit here. Let's pop this right there. Right there. All right, so around 95,000 be about the top of the market, I think, today. Let's see if we're right. Who the hell knows? All right, guys. Thank you for the $5 bomb, by the way. If anybody wants to talk about any of your meme coins or anything like that, that's how you do it. Just a super chat, and we talk about what you want to talk about instead of what I want to talk about. Very, very easy. So what do you think about Pepe Node that's coming out next month? Don't know anything about it. Plume is BlackRock RWA. I don't know. See, I think that RWAs are just like, man, I think you should accumulate all of them. I think you should have some dev, have some Plume, have some API 3, have some Chainlink. RWAs, at some point, there's going to be a signal in the market. And when there's a signal in the market, that's where the money, I think, is going to go first. AI is one of them, and the other one is RWA. I really think that those are the narratives that are going to play out in that banana zone. So that's what I'm looking for. That's the thing that I think is going to happen. So anyway, that's the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's not financial advice. I'm always right. I appreciate you guys so much. Again, the most important thing you can do right now is, if you're watching and you've watched until the end, help me out. Leave a comment down below when this video ends. You can say, thank you, you're ugly, I hate you. Whatever you want to say it. But hit that like button and leave a comment down below. That helps me out tremendously. You have no idea how important that engagement is for the YouTube algorithm. And I just need a few more people watching, and then a few more people watching, and a few more people watching. That's all it takes. It's not financial advice.